Hi everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of New York City, Season 11, Episode 9, Tears of a Clown. Okay, this is not my day, you guys. I started off this day by spilling coffee, not only all over my couch and the pillows on my couch and me and my dog, but on my laptop, my phone. It was... nothing was damaged, but like it was a mess. It was a rough beginning to my day. Then after I got everything cleaned up and I was eating my cereal, I spilled that all over myself. Oh, I'm not done yet. The beginning of this video, I did not have my microphone plugged in. So this is take 2 right now. I hope I get through it. Without any more delay, I am watching the episode as I'm filming. So let's get started. All right, the show opens with Bethany and her driver. He's taking her to court because that poor woman has another court date. She's been dealing with her divorce for 7 years. I can't even imagine it. And I've said this before, but I still want to hear Jason Hoppy's side of the story. Like, I wish he would do an interview or be on a show or in some way, in an article, something, so I could hear what he's thinking about this whole thing. Because I used to watch their show together, their wedding. I watched that. I watched the show of their life together in their apartment when Bryn was born. I loved them as a couple and I loved him. In fact, I always used to think he was a saint for putting up with her because, you know, she's so neurotic and everything. And he seemed like he centered her and calmed her, and I thought he was good for her. You know, it was like kind of like Bo and Stassi in a way. I realize I'm only hearing Bethany's side of the story, but like oh my gosh, I feel like he turned into such a jerk. I just want to know what's going on in his head. Now she's dealing with this custody battle, and the headlines show that they want her to be drug tested, and I don't know. She said something to her driver about, you know, this company that she is dealing with, Jim Beam. She signed a contract and she like can't make one misstep. She can't be drunk. She can't do anything wrong in public. So, you know, she's concerned about it, of course. One of you guys mentioned this in the comments. I agree. I thought she sold the company for $100 million. I feel like that happened during that show I was talking about with her and Jason. But apparently she is still staying on with them in some capacity. Anyway, I don't really understand it. But yeah, I just, I feel bad for her. Next, we join Luann and Jill Zarin for a game of tennis. Jill starts asking Luann about her life, and Luann goes, well, we'll talk later because I really need some exercise, girlfriend. Jill's like, yeah, I play tennis every day. So the two of them volley the ball back and forth about 3 times, and they're done. I realize maybe it wasn't all on camera, but that's about all we saw was a minute, and then, you know, they need water and they sit down to talk. Side note, before that, Jill's little dog was in his carrier and the ball went near the dog, or I don't think it hit the dog. It was off camera, so I don't know for sure. But the dog yelped and like jumped out of the carrier and went running across the court. Jill had to grab him and put him back in his little crate. Question, do we really need to take our dogs everywhere with us, ladies? I mean, I get that they're cute and tiny. I have a cute and tiny dog too, but I wouldn't bring her to play tennis with me. Like, if that dog got hit with a tennis ball and got hurt, that's on you. Anyway, they're sitting down to talk now, and Jill is asking Luann about her sobriety. It's a little weird the way she's, well, to be honest, I can't even tell what Jill's getting at because Luann won't let her get a word in edgewise. But it almost seems as though Jill's kind of trying to make the point that Luann's not an alcoholic. I could be wrong, but her questions were leading down a path that made me think that. Although, again, Luann wouldn't let her get a word in edgewise, so I don't know exactly what she meant. But, you know, she would say things like, I mean, you never drank at home or anything like that. It's not like you drank alone. It was just social, right? Stuff like that. And Luann goes, oh, yes. But, you know, I didn't like myself then. You know, I had a doctor friend who once told me, "You're not pretty when you drink. Your face changes." And apparently Luann went back and looked at pictures and agreed that she did not like the way she looked. And Jill goes, "Well, that'll get you to stop drinking." Which, I mean, it is funny, but like, come on. Of all the problems that you can run into with alcoholism, you know, like health-wise and emotionally and relationship-wise, all the major things, the thing that's going to make you stop is that you don't look pretty. Really? I don't know. I mean, I guess whatever works, right? Oh, we check back in with Bethany and she's coming out of court. She gets in the car and she's like, "Okay, I need to take a deep breath." And then we see the headline from our friends at Radar Online. And it said, "Bethany's victory. Judge shuts down Frankel's ex Jason Hoppy's demand for drug testing." And then there's like I guess a quote from the judge. "I think you're trying to exploit and embarrass her." So that's good. Okay, this is interesting because now she gets on the phone with someone named Burnt, who is the president of BB Endeavors. I'm not sure if that is something to do with Jim Beam or not. In any case, she said, "Let's get that person back on the phone." And she's referring to the fact that there have been several offers to buy the Skinny Girl brand from her. And she wants to consider them now because she feels overwhelmed. And, you know, she's like, let's get some air out of the tires. And Burnt is saying, you know, just calm down, relax. And she's like kind of crying. Maybe you don't make a big decision right now, like the minute you got out of this court thing, okay? I feel like it's a little impulsive. In her confessional, that's when she tells us there have been like offers to buy Skinny Girl and she is going to consider it because it's a lot. You know, she does her relief efforts and she's got a lot of other irons in the fire. And so she just needs a little bit of a break. I can understand that, but I just think she needs to make that decision when she's in a calm frame of mind. Side note, gosh, I wish I could remember who it was, but one of you guys mentioned in your comment, isn't it interesting that we are not seeing Skinny Girl brand all over every single thing that Bethany does? And I'm wondering if it has something to do with this right here, that maybe she did in fact sell it. And that's why when she had the ladies over for dinner, it wasn't a Skinny Girl ice luge and it wasn't Skinny Girl bottles lined up strategically placed so that they were on camera. And she's not constantly talking about the Skinny Girl jeans. You know, it was a lot last year. Every time you saw Bethany, it was like a ton of branding. It's kind of like, you know how Tamra and Eddie, you never see Eddie Judge without a Cut Fitness hat on or a Cut Fitness t-shirt. And that's how Bethany was with Skinny Girl. And I haven't seen it once this season. Now I'm wondering if this is why. Okay. Next we are with Tinsley and Dale, my favorite couple. I love how manipulative Dale is to Tinsley. And when I say love, I mean not in a real world way, but just as a character on my TV show. Now they are at brunch. And Dale said, "Oh, is this going to be a mimosa kind of Sunday?" And Tinsley goes, "You can have a mimosa." And Dale goes, "Well, you know what? Maybe champagne." And Tinsley goes, "Oh, just screw the orange juice. Let's just get right to it." Oh, God. So Tinsley said, "Of course my mother's going to come and see me in the circus. My mother comes to New York just to get her hair done." So then Dale goes, "Are you getting excited? Welcome to the Big Apple Circus." And now they're talking about her breakup with Scott. And guys, I did not know how much Tinsley was like Sheena until Dale's confessional when she said, "This is what bothers me about Scott. He doesn't want Tinsley, but he doesn't want to let her go either." because Tinsley said he wrote to her last night and she's crying now in this restaurant. Dale wants her to just move on. And she said, if he wasn't the right one, I just want you to move on. You're a lovely girl. And she said, that's just the thing. He does think I'm great. It's just, I'm confused actually. I think what Tinsley's saying is that she really believes it's her lifestyle in New York that Scott just couldn't take. That if she would have said, I'll move to Chicago with you, they'd still be together and maybe they'd be married. And that could be it, right? If he has an established life in Chicago and she's establishing her life in New York and neither one of them will budge, even if they love each other, that kind of seems like it could be a deal breaker. Something about the way Tinsley was acting at Bethany's, you know, like, oh, you'd be so mad at me and you don't understand. And it made it seem like he was a controlling jerk. I'm confused, but I do think that Scott and Adam maybe could be friends. Okay, Scott, what are you doing? She now tells Dale that she got these texts from Scott weeks ago that was he and this ring guy. And their conversation back and forth about size and price and a color, that he was going to give her a ring. And Dale is basically saying, yeah, but he didn't give it to you, did he, Tinsley? Now I know what Tinsley meant when she said, he sent me a picture of a ring. I think it was Ramona who said, that's weird to send a girl a picture. Now I know what she means. This is probably what she's referring to. Run, girl, run. That's what I say. There's plenty of boys in New York City. Just go to the Regency. She sent back that ginormous car to him, and Dale goes, oh, that stupid car. As I said before, Tinsley, you should just move on. Agreed. Now we are with Dorinda and Sonja, and Dorinda got advance tickets to go see The Hustle and asked Sonja to go with her, and they had a wonderful time, and now they're going to lunch. I can't wait to see that movie. I love Rebel Wilson, I love Anne Hathaway, and the previews look really funny. It comes out on Mother's Day, so that's what I want as my Mother's Day gift. Oh boy, there must have been some conditions attached to those free tickets because Sonja and Dorinda are still talking about the movie. They're equating it to their friendship group. I like how Anne Hathaway can cry on demand. I think Tinsley does that too. And then they talk about how Ramona can fake the tears. And then they're equating her playing the damsel in distress to Tinsley also. I think Tinsley does that too. And Dorinda said, I think it's interesting how 1 minute at Bethany's house, she couldn't call Scott on the phone. And then the next minute we find out they're breaking up. I thought that was very odd. I don't. I had a very different reaction to that. The next day when I found out that they broke up, to me it was like, okay, now it makes sense why she didn't want to talk to him on the phone. Oh boy. I mean, they're acting like they care about her, but they're sitting there gossiping like a couple of old biddies. Dorinda said, she's a nice girl. You know, she thinks that like we don't have her back, but we really have her back. Sonja goes, we do really have her back. I think we're the best things in her life right now. God help you, Tinsley. Oh my God, you guys. This is so good. The next scene is Barbara and Ramona. And Ramona is taking her shopping. Swear to God. In the confessional, Ramona said, since Barbara wanted me to take her shopping, I said to myself, I'm not putting it off any longer because I can't stand the way she's dressing. So they walk into this, I guess it's like a private showing. There's a designer there. And she said, okay, so the deal is Barbara is a new friend of mine and she's very busy, always into construction. She has clothes that are okay. The designer starts laughing and Barbara goes, okay, we're going to really have to stop with the insults here. Ramona, oh, I'm not insulting you. I said you have nice clothes. No, you didn't. Okay, Barbara, no, you're creepy too. Sorry. She says to this girl who's got to be, I don't know, 23 years old, my style is like, I want to be cool and edgy and, you know, I'm rock and roll. And the girl's like, okay. And she goes, did you ever get the let out? And there's just, of course, crickets. Ramona doesn't know what she means. The girl doesn't know what she means. And she goes, Led Zeppelin. So the girl goes, oh, that's before my time. Barbara, oh, no, 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 no. Led Zeppelin is before no one's time. It's like Jimi Hendrix. And then Ramona goes, snot is running down his nose. Yeah, I used to listen to that when I did my geometry homework. And then she does this dance that I am here for, but snot is running down his nose? I had to look that up. That is a line from Aqualung and not Led Zeppelin, so I'm not exactly sure what made Ramona immediately go to that, but just thinking about a young high school aged Ramona sitting in her room doing geometry homework, listening to Jethro Tull gives me life. Just another gem that you will get in no other franchise but New York City. That's why it's the best. And then Barbara, oh, she's so creepy. And you are not winning points with this girl, Barbara. She said, okay, so that's kind of my vibe. Even though I'm the CEO of a company, like, I can run a company, but I'm still super cool. This girl couldn't be any less impressed. So let's just get to the trying on clothes part, okay? Oh my God, Ramona is so catty though. So now they are looking at the clothes, and the first one she goes, yeah, so do you like this top? And she goes, yeah, yeah. So this'll like cover your midriff more? In the confessional, she's like, so now she likes the top where her midriff will be covered. Check. Yeah, I hope you know you aren't really bonding, Barbara. I know I thought this was a good idea, and it did disarm Ramona at the time, but now she just feels powerful. Okay, so she comes out in this outfit. It's fine. I don't know. I'm not blown away by it, but Ramona said, you look gorgeous. And of course, the girl is fawning all over it because I guess she gets a commission. In the confessional, Barbara said, so Ramona can be a little rough around the edges. I love how they're calling each other a little rough. She said, but this is the good Ramona this time. Yeah, you might want to go through the footage before you make comments like that, because it's not the good Ramona. Oh, did we just have a little breakthrough here? Because now Barbara is comparing Ramona to her own mother, which is, that's a little shady to start. But then she said, my mother had no filter, but at the end of the day, she really meant well. And I have to learn to just accept that. And Ramona said, and I have to learn to soften my mouth. Okay. Even in the confessional, Ramona said, that struck a chord with me because that's how my dad was. So, a teachable moment for Ramona? Okay. Okay. Okay, so now she comes out with the next outfit. Ramona is loving everything she comes out in. Even this gray sweater dress that was very reminiscent of a wrap dress. It wasn't a wrap, but it gathered to the side, giving it that same silhouette. So I don't know what difference it makes that it wasn't actually a wrap. But anyway, Barbara said, I'm going to tell people Ramona picked this out, and they're going to think we're having a bromance. Is that what they call it for girls? Because I know guys have a bromance, and Ramona's like, I don't know, it's bros and hoes. So Barbara said, homance. Yes, Barbara and Ramona are having a homance. I like it. Now we're with Luann, and she is in a rehearsal, and she is feeling herself. In the confessional, she said, I'm hosting a Halloween party, and it's the biggest in New York City. Really? Okay. She's performing live, and they're going to have dancers, and they're creating a video to promote it. Okay, so now we are at the shoot for the video they're doing to promote the Halloween party, I guess. And Barbara and Sonja are there. Sonja's going to be in it too. And they're dressing up as nurses. So Sonja and Luann go to get dressed. And there's all this creepy nurse stuff. I don't know. It reminds me of something from American Horror Story. There's medieval instruments and stuff like that. And Luann said, I mean, this is very different from what I wore when I actually was a nurse. And we see a picture of her back in the day when she was a nurse. You could have a gun to my head and I would not be able to tell you who that was. She is unrecognizable from her younger self. Now we're with Bethany, and she's at BB Endeavors, and she's talking with Byrne. They are going to accept a deal. I'm not going to get this right, but I believe she is selling half of her company to this buyer, and she will still retain control over certain aspects of it as well, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, Bethany wants this to happen because she needs to get a little bit of the pressure off of her. I think so that she can spend more time on her daughter and her relationship with this great guy. I think it's the guy from Boston, but she didn't say. Okay, guys, who's ready for the circus? It's time for the Big Apple Circus. And we see Dale up at the bar. And she's like, what is that? Because the bartender is serving a drink to somebody in a little red and white striped cup that looks like a popcorn cup. I forget what she called it, but here's what she said. It's tequila, popcorn syrup. What is popcorn syrup? I didn't realize you could make syrup out of popcorn. Saline solution, like for your contact lenses, and lime. I mean, I can just see her behind the bar with like bottles of Bausch and Lomb, squirting it into a drink. Oh, God, it sounds horrible, but Dale says she'll have one. People are starting to arrive. Ramona arrives. We see Dorinda and John walking up the sidewalk. They're going in, and Dorinda is telling him, I did the trapeze here with Tinsley the other day. And he goes, really? And she said, yeah, I can fly through the air with the grandest of ease. Okay, two things. One, it's the greatest of ease. You said it twice last week, Dorinda. How could you get it wrong now? And two, good God, what kind of a life must you lead that your boyfriend doesn't know this fact already? Trust me, if I was on a trapeze one day, my husband would know about it that night. This isn't something that like 2 weeks later I said, hey, you know what? Now that we're going to the circus, I was on one of those trapezes a couple weeks ago. You know? So Ramona, Sonja, and Dorinda are there. I think they might be the only ladies coming to the circus. I don't think Luann and Bethany are going to be there. Although, would this not have been a perfect opportunity for Bethany to bring Bryn? Anyway, we have the old aunties talking about Tinsley again. She's light as a feather now, Sonja said. They just think she's, released a big dead weight. Sorry, Scott. Okay, so Tinsley's backstage. She's getting her doll makeup on, and she's getting mic'd. And this microphone keeps slipping. She doesn't think it's going to stay on, and time's ticking away. The guy's starting to announce the beginning of the circus, and she's backstage, and just before she goes on, the mic falls, and she's like, oh my God. But when we come back from a commercial, apparently it's fine because we didn't hear anything about it, and she's sitting in her little lyra hoop, and she comes spinning down from the sky. She comes down, gets unhooked. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Tinsley Mortimer, your guest ringmaster for this evening. Like, it was a weird baby doll voice. She says her line and she's like, now on with the show. And she goes backstage and Sonja goes, do we have to stay now that she's done? So Tinsley's done for the night. She goes now and sits next to everybody else, and drinks get brought out for them. They're in the front row there. There are these two circus performers that come out, a man and a woman. Dale is just evil. She just is. And I mean, I love her, but she said, that's Tinsley and Scott. Like, what would make you say that to your daughter, who just broke up with her boyfriend, Tinsley goes, thanks, Mom. Clearly not. The circus was supposed to be a distraction from Scott. So Ramona goes, hey, you know what? I'm going to go because I have a date. I'm going to go now while it's dark. What is she going to do when she finally remarries again? She's going to lose that built-in excuse to get out of every stupid, crappy event that she doesn't want to be at. I mean, come on. Nobody wants to be at the circus. You need to suck it up like everybody else. Well, she's not really getting away with it this time because Tinsley said, oh, you're leaving? Okay, that kind of hurts my feelings. And everybody thought she was wrong for doing it. Dorinda, who is like slaying the confessionals this week, said, "What a bitch." She's like, "Oh, that looks better. That tastes better. That seems better. That looks better." Oh God, now one of the performers, you want to sit with mommy? Come here. Now one of the performers comes around to the people in the front row and he's like shaking hands with everyone. And he says to Sonja, "Shake my hand." And she stands up and she tries to kiss him, like on the mouth. You'd like to kiss on the mouth too. Nobody wants that, sweetie. No, nobody wants that. Let's just be friends, okay? Sonja just stole the show. Just flat out stole the show. Even Tinsley said in her confessional, "It's amazing to me how she can just go out there in front of everybody, have no idea what she's about to do, and perform like a professional." Yeah, Tinsley's like, "I couldn't do that." She was good. She was really funny. Oh my God, now we get Dale gives Tinsley the best backhanded compliment she can muster up. In her confessional, she's like, "I didn't know Tinsley's part was going to be so short. But then Sonja went out there and she had a bigger part. But, you know, Tinsley did well." Oh, God. You are the worst / best. And I love you, Dale. Uh-oh, montage of Tinsley taking drink after drink after drink. Oh boy. Okay, so now Tinsley and Dale are still sitting in a couple seats at the circus. Everybody else has gone home, I think. And Tinsley tells her that, "I feel like you don't think I did a good job." And Dale said, "What are you talking about?" And she said, "I just need your approval. I need your approval." Well, Dale thinks it's Scott's fault. "Tinsley, you're 43. And she goes, "I know, and it makes me feel like a freaking idiot, but I need your approval. I just do. I need it. I need it. I need it. I need it." Mommy's not really crying. So she starts getting super emotional and crying, and I just feel like I don't do anything good enough. And Dale said, "It's not about me, Tinsley. It's about Scott." And it's about you, Dale. Let's be honest. You were making her feel less than for many years before Scott came along. Well, this turns like just plain sad. Not like fun sad, but like just sad, because she's breaking down and she's said, "I'm just miserable." Dale's like, "Well, it's not because of me. I know that." I mean, Dale, I do feel like she may have been wiping away a tear. I'm not sure if Dale even has the capability of crying, but I think maybe it's getting to her a little bit to see her daughter so sad. Okay, Dale almost said something nice here now. I'm a little frightened. No, she said, "I know what you're thinking, honey. You're thinking because you are the age you are that you have wasted your time with this guy, this dude." I think she said dude. "But you haven't. You've learned something, haven't you? Then it's not a waste of time." In the confessional, Dale said, you know, if he wanted to be here, he would, and he's not. So she really wants Tinsley to be done with him, stop with the back and forth, the breakup, makeup, breakup, makeup. Be done with him, move forward. I think that's Dale's overriding message of the day. She wants Tinsley to move on. Tinsley thinks part of the reason she's so emotional is because, you know, she has those memories of the circus with her dad. And she said, "I feel like Dad was here." And Dale's like, "Dad was here and I was here." And she said, "Dad was here and you were here. It just would have been really nice. I feel like it was special and it would have been nice if he was here too." Meaning Scott. Now we just have the saddest, sweetest, most pathetic confessional ever. Tinsley is crying, of course. And she said, "If I'm going to be sad at the circus with a bow in my hair and a big poofy dress and glittery tights, then I'm really sad." Yeah, sweetie. I'm sorry. Oh, never mind. Dale's back. Listen, there are people that have horrible things happen to them, and that's not you. So stop it. I can't. Yes, you can. Oh, there's Medale. And on that note, we end another episode. Previews for next week look strange and crazy. So, yeah, it's going to be good. You know what's funny? I think it's the Halloween party. And this is where the season started last year. Episode 1 of season 8 was Dorinda's Halloween party. So, I mean, it's funny. We're on episode 10 and we're just at Halloween. That tells you how early this started for them. Interesting. Okay, well, that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Please subscribe to Jill Informed if you haven't already. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and don't forget to leave a comment. I'm going to be right back here next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central Time for the next recap of The Real Housewives of New York City. I hope you'll join me. Bye.